welcome back to another one, you guys. If you are new to the channel, my name is Andrew with Younger Cars in Hagerstown, Maryland. For more information on our inventory, please feel free to check out the link in the description box below. Today, we just got a fresh trade in. It is a 2022 Kia Telluride EX. And so since this is a 2022, I decided to hop in it and test it out. So in this video, we will be testing out and going over everything about this one. So having said that, what do you guys say? Let's just go ahead and jump right into it. And as always, let's start with pricing it. So as you can imagine, there are a few different trim levels for the 2022 Telluride. First one being the LX, starting at $33,390. S trim starting at $35,890. EX, which is the one we are in today, starting at $38,390. And lastly, the SX starting at $43,290. By the way, that was all pricing for the front wheel drive configuration. If you wanted to add all-wheel drive, simply add $2,000 to any of those prices. But regardless of trim level that you go with, the power plant on the Telluride is going to be the same. Powering the beast is a 3.8 liter direct injected V6, putting out 291 horsepower at 6,000 RPM, 262 pound-feet of torque, coming in at 5,200 RPM. Power center front wheels are all wheels through an 8-speed automatic. 0 to 60 time is going to come in at approximately 7.1 seconds, with MPG numbers coming in at 20 in the city, 26 on the highway for the front wheel drive, 19 city, 24 then on the highway for the all-wheel drive, taking regular unleaded fuel. And so before we do any kind of fun acceleration here at our Telluride, I wanted to mention to you guys the drive modes. There is a drive mode knob located directly behind the shifter. Those drive modes will include Comfort, Eco, Sport, and Smart, adjusting things like the shift points, the throttle response, and the steering sensitivity. And so now that I've got all of that out of the way, what do you guys say? Let's go ahead and find a straightaway. Let's put the Telluride here to the test, and let's see how quickly we can get our new 2022 Kia Telluride here up to speed. Here we go. Oh my gosh. I forgot to tell you guys, we're in a front wheel drive model. So it's a lot of power being sent to the front wheels. That's why you might have heard a little bit of skidding there, because with all-wheel drive models that I've tested in the past, you don't get that. And the good thing is, again, with the front wheel drive model, you do get a little better MPGs. So if you wanted a larger SUV with better MPGs, maybe that's one reason to go with the front wheel drive. But you do get a little bit of slippage there, as you may have heard when you hit the gas with all the power that this thing has. So I did want to mention that, but having said that, no issues with merging onto the highway. Definitely not going to have any issues there. But anyways, to go along with that acceleration, as always, braking is equally important. So up front, you will find 13.4-inch ventilated front discs. In the back, 12-inch solid rear discs. As far as that 60-0 stopping distance goes, it's going to come in at an insanely impressive 118 feet. And that actually might have been the first thing I noticed when I hopped in the Telluride. Previously in the past, whenever I drive Kia or Hyundai, they're going to have a softer braking feel, but that's not what I got here the second I hopped in the Telluride. This thing has a very firm bite to the brakes, which I love. It kind of feels more along the lines of a sports sedan than an SUV, if I'm being honest. So I absolutely love the braking feel on this thing. It instantly brings you to a stop, and that's honestly something that you want when you have an SUV with 3 rows, because more than likely you're going to have kids in the back, and if you have to come to a quick stop, you don't want something that's going to stop in upper 130s. You want something that's going to stop basically in 118 feet like the Telluride. So it's really a safety feature in itself in terms of the braking feel and how quickly this thing is going to come to a stop. So I'm a huge fan of the braking on the Telluride. But then touching on suspension and handling, up front you're going to get an independent McPherson strut front suspension. In the back, independent multi-link rear suspension, front and rear stabilizer bars. As far as ride quality goes, it's honestly been perfectly fine, 100%, soaking up Hagerstown's road imperfections quite nicely. And honestly, the roads here are pretty nice, if I'm being honest, but still, this thing is absorbing the road imperfections very nicely. So a very smooth ride in the Telluride without a doubt. As far as steering feel goes, it is a noticeable difference, honestly, depending upon which drive mode that you put it in. So I'm still in Sport right now. It's got a heavier feel to it, but let me go ahead and take it out. Let me put it in Eco, and you can definitely tell the difference. It instantly loosens up that steering feel. So quite a substantial difference, and really it's something for everybody then. So if you want to have your steering feel, you got it. If you want to looser steering feel, you got that too. So I do like that. So touching on cabin noise, we are going 54 miles per hour right now. There isn't a whole lot of exterior wind noise coming into the cabin. There's a slight bit of road noise, but other than that, wind noise is pretty much subdued, and that's due in part because there's an acoustic laminated front windshield that comes standard for all trim levels of the Telluride. Not only that, if you were to go with the EX or SX trims, you're going to get acoustic laminated front window glass as well. So even more added sereneness in the cabin here. We do have the EX again, so we do have that as well. So wind noise is definitely subdued, so I'm a huge fan of that. Touching on visibility, honestly, I can see perfectly fine out the back. One of the best parts about that rear visibility is that the third row headrests tuck in. So if you don't have any passengers in that third row, like is quite often the case, if you just have 2 kids in the middle row maybe, it is a good thing that they tuck down because it definitely increases visibility. And the third row headrest in some other manufacturers, I can tell you, are quite beefy. So I absolutely love the setup that the Telluride has there. Not only that, rain sensing windshield wipers are going to be optional on the SX, and also optional on the SX will be a head-up display displaying your speed limit, and safety features up in your windshield. And you can actually change the color of that head-up display as well. You could choose between like a lime green, an orange, and a white. So that is pretty cool as well. But anyways, that pretty much rounds out the performance segment of this review, guys. So go ahead and take a look at the exterior of our brand new 2022 Kia Telluride. All right, you guys, here she is, the new 2022 Kia Telluride. And for anybody who is curious, the refreshed look or the slight redesign is coming for the 2023 model year. So my question to you all, put it in the comments, do you buy this now or do you wait for the 2023 refreshed Telluride? But anyways, let's go ahead and start up front on the Telluride here. You do have that new 2022 specific Kia logo up front. Definitely still love the new Kia logo. I think it looks so darn good, so much better than the previous one at least. Telluride lettering found on the front portion of that hood. Of course, you do have a gloss black front grille with chrome surrounds for the LX. However, if you were to go with the S trim level and up, we'll get that gloss black front grille with satin chrome surround. So that is currently, of course, what you guys are looking at right now. There is also a Nightfall edition, did want to mention that, and that essentially finishes everything in a gloss black. So if you wanted to go that route, just underneath, you actually do have a front skid plate coming standard for all trim levels as well. To the sides, projector beam halogen headlights coming with the LX, S, and EX. And so, as I've been mentioning to you guys, we do have the EX trims here, probably wondering why you're currently looking at LED headlights. So, did want to mention, LED projector headlights come standard with the SX. It is optional for the EX with a premium package, it's called. That goes for $1,695. Gives you a bunch of different things, including the LED headlights, 20-inch machine finished alloys, so I'll show you guys those in a second. Low profile roof rails, captain's chair seating, I'm going to be showing that to you guys later in this video as well, and a 50-50 split second row to go along with all of that. So quite a bit within that premium package. But automatic feature, of course, coming with the headlights as well, meaning when it starts to get dark out at night, those headlights are going to turn on automatically for you there. And if you wanted automatic high beams, they will come standard on the SX and then optional on the EX, and we do have that because they come with the LED headlights. But anyways, if you're looking for fog lights down below, they will be had with the SX trim level only. There is some satin chrome accents found on the lower corners as well as that front lip, and by the way, front air curtains around those lower corners as well, helping direct air around the wheel and tire combination. So that is very nice. And for anybody who is curious what Telluride actually is or what it means, this vehicle was named after a famous ski town in Colorado. So do want to mention that as well. But anyways, that pretty much rounds out the front end of the Telluride. So now go ahead and make our way to the side. So but now, since we are around to the side of this one, low profile roof rails coming with the S, EX, and SX trim levels. Silver roof rails coming with the S and the EX, and then you will find satin chrome roof rails for the SX trim. But then satin chrome window surrounds will come standard, satin chrome accents on the side skirts then as well. When it comes to those side mirrors, they are body colored power adjustable side mirrors. They will be heated with LED integrated surge signals, all of that coming standard for all trims, by the way. Then if you were to go with the EX or SX trims, you will get power folding side mirrors. Then the SX is going to add, in addition to that, a reverse tilt down feature then as well, so you don't run over any bicycles perhaps or anything like that. But let's take a look down at the wheel setup. 18-inch alloys in silver coming with the LX trim, 18-inch machine finished alloys coming with the EX, 20-inch machine finished alloys coming with the S, 20-inch black finished alloys then coming with the SX, with of course the EX trim level that we have today having those optional 20-inch wheels that come with the premium package. But pretty much rounds out the side profile. Now let's go ahead and make our way to the back. All right, so now since we are around to the back, at the very top you will find a body colored shark fin antenna. Just below that, rear spoiler with an integrated brake light. Just below that, rear window wiper. Of course, you got the new Kia badging once again. Telluride lettering spelled out horizontally. You will find LED taillights for the EX and SX trim levels if you wanted some added illumination at night there. You do have a single exhaust outlet down below for the LX, and by the way, the LX exhaust configuration is going to be tucked away. Wanted to mention that because that's not what you guys are currently looking at. Today, we have a single exhaust outlet with dual satin chrome tips that comes with the S, EX, and SX trim levels. So, having said that, I do believe you guys know what we have to do next. As always, here is that exhaust clip. It's been now since we are around to the back of the Telluride. When it comes to opening that rear tailgate, it is a hands-free power tailgate for the EX and SX trim levels. And the cool thing is about that power tailgate, you can actually speed it up or you could leave it at normal. So there's two speeds essentially, the normal speed and the fast speed. If you put it on the fast speed, Kia says it's the fastest opening rear tailgate that is out there on the market right now. So if you're always in a hurry, Kia's got you covered. But anyways, there is a button on the key fob. That's one way to open it up. There's a button on the tailgate itself and a button by the driver's side left knee then as well. In addition to that, you can actually customize the height. So if you're a taller or shorter individual, you can customize the height of that rear tailgate to help you out. So did want to mention that as well. But anyways, once opened up, cargo capacity behind that third row comes in at an even 21 cubic feet, which is actually pretty impressive behind a third row. If that was not enough space, those rear seats do fold down. Behind the second row, then it comes in at even 46 cubic feet. By the way, there is a pull lever to fold down that third row. Is very easy to use, so it's very easy to fold down that third row, I'll say that. Then with all rows folded, that is going to come in at a very impressive 87 cubic feet. So there's actually buttons then in the cargo area to fold down that second row. So that is one option if you wanted to go that route. For comparison's sake, Hyundai Palisade comes in at 86.4 cubic feet, Honda Pilot comes in at 83.9 cubic feet, and then the Ford Explorer comes in at 87.8 cubic feet. So has more cargo space than the Palisade and the Pilot, and just slightly less than the Explorer if you were doing some comparison shopping perhaps. But so then also wanted to mention in that cargo area, you will find in-floor storage. There are some grocery bag hooks, and there is a 12-volt power outlet as well. And by the way, the in-floor storage is pretty substantial, a lot more than most other SUVs that I test out, so decent amount there, so big fan. But anyways, let's go ahead and make our way to the rear legroom, starting with the third row legroom. That is going to come in at 31.4 inches. So for reference, I'm an even 6 feet tall. This is how much space I had in that third row. Actually decent. Actually, it was able to fit, and the second row seats are adjustable, so you can move them forward a little bit if you did have a taller individual in the third row. So it's definitely doable, believe it or not. So big fan of that. I do want to also mention though, the Telluride comes in either 7 or 8 passenger seating. The 7 passenger seating, meaning the captain's chairs, are going to come with the S and SX trims, and then optional on the EX, because again, the premium package is going to give us those captain's chairs that we have today. In that third row, you're going to find 3 seats either way, so that's why I wanted to mention that. A lot of 3-row SUVs sometimes will put 2 seats in that third row, so I do like that it has 3 seats there. Also, rear ventilation can be found on the ceiling of the Telluride, so all 3 rows are going to be able to stay comfortable there. Third row cup holders do come standard, and USB charging ports actually come standard in the third row as well, meaning both sides of the third row get a USB charging port to maybe for kids to charge up their tablets. So I was a huge fan of seeing that. So well done, Kia, for that. And by the way, if you were to get in on the side of the Telluride to get into the third row, if you have captain's chairs, of course, you can just walk up the center, but there is actually a button on the second row seats. You just press that and everything automatically goes forward. So you're easily able to walk into that third row. So again, very smart decision there from Kia. That was very nice. And there's seatbelt coat hangers as well to even make it even easier to kind of tuck those second row seat belts out of the way. So Kia thought of everything here, so big fan. But so then making our way to the second row legroom, that's going to come in at 42.4 inches. So for reference, again, I am an even 6 feet tall. This is how much space I had in that second row. Second row seats, by the way, are reclining. There is a rear center armrest with cup holders if you go with the 8 passenger configuration, meaning with 3 seats in the middle there. Also a 115 volt power outlet available, 12 volt power outlet. USB charging ports though are not located underneath of the ventilation there, but rather on the side of the front seats. I actually am a big fan of this. Reason being is because when you have the setup where the USB charging ports are located underneath of that rear ventilation, a lot of times if you have kids walking up into the third row, they step on the USB charging ports and mess up the cables, or they mess up the connections. So the fact that they're on the rear seats with a little coat hook and then a place to put your cell phone, I think it's a brilliant design, and Kia really thought that one out. So it's not going to get hacked up or anything like that. So big fan of that. But rear window sunshades coming with the EX and SX trims. It's always nice if you're driving a newborn home from the hospital, you got small kids or something like that. And heated and ventilated rear seats are going to be optional on the SX trim. So pretty much thought of everything for those rear passengers. But now let's go ahead and make our way to the front seats. Manually adjustable front seats come with the LX trim. 8-way power driver seat with power lumbar coming with the S trim level and up. However, if you go with the SX, you will get a 10-way power adjustable driver seat with power lumbar. Syntex upholstery is going to come with the LX and the S trims. Leather seating coming with the EX and SX trims. Heated front seats coming with the S trim level and up, and then ventilated front seats coming with the EX and the SX trims. And as far as seat comfort goes, definitely extremely comfortable seating. The reason I say that is the power lumbar is done extremely well. It's a very nice adjustment. That was really able to help me find my perfect driving position. The fact that we got ventilated front seats as well. By the way, it's located just by the driver's right knee or the passenger's left knee. So it's a little bit different placement than most other vehicles, but that's where they're going to be located. But seating comfort was perfectly fine. And so then taking a look at the steering wheel, it is tilt and telescoping. It is leather wrapped for all trim levels across the board. And then heated is going to be optional on the EX and SX trims if you wanted to go that route. Then making our way to the startup, let me start by showing you guys the key here. You do have your Kia logo on the one side. Essentially, all of your buttons are located on the side of the key with the exception of that remote start, which is located above the Kia logo. That's going to come standard as well. But lock, unlock, and that lock button, by the way, is the large button at the very top. You can just simply press it with your thumb. But essentially, it is all keyless entry with a push button start. So all I'm going to do here is simply put my foot on the brake and press that silver engine start button located just by the driver's right knee. And so once started up, tachometer is on your left, speedometer is on your right. There is a small digital display front and center. To control what is on that digital display, there are steering wheel mounted controls found on the right side of the steering wheel, giving you things like a digital speedometer. There's trip A, trip B. Your driving modes can be located up there. How many miles you have left until you hit empty, outside temperature. The list goes on, but essentially, to sum it up, everything you could possibly want on the digital portion of the gauges at least. But now, making our way to overall interior quality, power sunroof coming with the S trim level and the EX. We do have that, of course, today. LED map lights coming with the S trim level and up. There is a premium headliner that's going to be optional on the SX. Kind of feels like suede, but it's just super soft. I remember testing that maybe 2 years ago. Wireless phone charger coming with the EX and the SX trims. Home light controls coming with the SX trim level only. Dual zone climate control coming with the EX and SX. Wood grain interior accents coming with those two trims as well. That can be found just below the infotainment screen, as well as just above the passenger side glove box and on the doors then as well. Overhead sunglass holder is going to come with all trim levels across the board. And if you were to go with the SX trim, you will get stainless steel pedals and door sills as well. But overall, just in front of the shifter, you do have a couple USB charging ports and 12-volt power outlet, and decent amount of storage. There's a wireless phone charger is going to be located there as well. Just to the right of the shifter, you got a little bit of storage, dual cup holders. You do have a electromechanical parking brake behind the shifter as well, and actually a decent amount of storage within the center armrest, including a 12-volt power outlet in there as well. And again, the authentic wood trim definitely makes things look a little more upscale in the Telluride. And quite honestly, these buttons located just above the dual zone climate control, that is taken straight off of Genesis. I can tell you that, having reviewed just about every Genesis out there at this point. So very nice interior quality, if I'm being honest, for the Tellurides. Absolutely no complaints from me. Then taking a look at the infotainment screen, this is probably the main change for the 2022 Telluride, besides the logos, I guess, is the 10.25 inch color touchscreen display is now newly standard for every single trim level across the board, whereas before, I think it was an 8-inch screen came standard, and then this was the upgraded version, but now this is standard across the board, so that's pretty cool. Bluetooth and audio streaming coming standard as well, Android Auto, Apple CarPlay. Factory navigation system actually comes standard across the board as well. You do have quiet mode up there, meaning it eliminates the rear speakers if the kids are sleeping in the back maybe, and then limits the speakers to, I believe it's a volume of 7 in the front, so you don't risk waking up the kids in the back. So that's a pretty cool feature. You have your ambient lighting adjustments up there as well. There's a voice memo system if you wanted to record your voice and you didn't want to forget something, perhaps you could play it back at a later date. There's also sounds of nature, which is one of my favorite features in all Hyundais and Kias out there. You got lively rainforest, calm sea waves, rainy day, open air cafe, warm fireplace, and snowy village. So having said that, I'm gonna let you guys listen to that real quick, and I'll be right back. So but another thing I wanted to mention, of course, you can check out your radio information up there as well. And so when it comes to the sound systems on the Telluride, 6 speakers coming with the LX, S, and EX trims. However, for the SX, you get a 10-speaker Harman Kardon sound system, but that's not the one we have today. But having said that, I do like the little Telluride lettering found on the speaker covers here on the doors here. But nonetheless, we do have the 6-speaker sound system. So what do you guys say? Let's go ahead and turn on the radio, see what we got playing today, and let's test out the clarity of this one. Honestly, it's not bad. Honestly, that was more bass than I expected. I think that's what surprised me the most. And I say it's not bad because 6 speakers traditionally doesn't sound all that great, and especially in the size of the Telluride, you wouldn't think it would be. But it's actually not bad, if I'm being honest. That was a decent sound system for the Telluride. So last thing I want to mention to you guys on the infotainment screen is when you do put the Telluride in reverse, you will find a rear view camera coming standard across the board, letting you know who or what is behind you, which is always going to lead us into safety. And so to start, the 2022 Kia Telluride is an IIHS top safety pick with the equipped LED headlights. So you do have to go with the SX or the premium package for the EX to get that top safety pick rating. Front side curtain airbags do come standard. There is a driver's knee airbag up front as well. In the back, you're gonna have latch, aka lower anchors and tethers for children for the rear car seats, rear child door locks, tire pressure monitoring system, but that's the boring stuff. The fun stuff is there is a massive boost to the standard safety for 2022 that comes standard for all trim levels across the board. Yet another big change for 2022. All of these safety features will include forward collision warning, forward collision avoidance assist, blind spot monitoring system with rear cross traffic alert, lane departure warning, lane keep assist, lane following assist, navigation-based smart cruise control, highway driving assist, driver attention warning system, rear parking sensors, and safe exit assist then as well. In addition to that, if you were to go with the SX trim, that's going to add to that front parking sensors, a surround view monitor, and a blind spot view monitor as well. And so overall, when it comes to my final thoughts here of the 2022 Telluride, great standard safety. That's a heck of a lot of standard safety features that come standard across the board. Great ride quality as well. I think I said that on my previous review of the Telluride. I really am impressed with how smooth this thing rides. Good bit of space, 87 cubic feet total is pretty darn impressive. Like I said, that's more than the Pilot. I think it's more than the Highlander. I know it's slightly more than the Palisade, so definitely a good bit of space. Great styling as well, but I will say the 2023 styling, it looks similar, but I think that I like the redesign of the headlights for 2023. So again, put in the comments whether you're waiting for 2023 or you're going to be getting a 2022, but either way, it still looks good. But that is about it for this one, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to follow Younger Cars at social media at the bottom of the screen. Be sure to hit the subscribe and the bell notification button if you're into new car reviews and everything else that goes on at the dealership. We do appreciate you guys watching more than you know, and we will see you guys all in the next video. Bye.